Hey everybody, what's good? What's going on? Happy Saturday. Welcome back to another CyberInsight live stream. I'm JB, and we're going to be doing another one of the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber challenge rooms today. I think we are into day 11. Today should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I think we're going to be doing a little bit of a introductory lesson with how to query some data in a Microsoft SQL server. So yeah, let's hop over into the browser and jump into it. As I always say whenever we're doing this stuff, I appreciate it if you smash the like button, subscribe, share the video with your friends, all that good stuff. Help me out with the YouTube algorithms however you can. All right, so let's get into this and take a look. Right off the bat, you're going to want to make sure that you spin up your attack machine, and then there's also an active machine for the room. So you're going to want to make sure that you hit the green button to get that going. So let's see what we're talking about today. So the MIC database admin came rushing into the room and cried to McSkitty, "We've been locked out of the reindeer schedule. How will Santa's transportation work for Christmas? The Grinch has locked the MIC database admin out of his system." So we need to probe the external surface of the server to see if we can get him access back. So we're going to talk a little bit about Microsoft SQL servers, the fact that it's a relational database system. And so we kind of go a little bit into what that actually is. So one simple way to think of a relational database is a group of tables that have relations to each other. I'll kind of walk through this down here in this diagram that we have like 3 different tables, and each of the different items in each of the tables also have an ID number. And one of the other tables kind of combines the information between 2 other tables simply by taking the ID numbers from each of the other tables and putting them together. So we don't need to necessarily write or rewrite all of the data from each of these separate tables into one table that is combining the information. We're able to essentially just use the IDs. So let's see. That's kind of what they talk about here, is the fact 3 different tables: electronic items, customers, and invoices. Each item in the electronics table has ID, name, price, and quantity, and each item in the customers table has its own attributes as well. Finally, there's an invoice table, which will refer to a customer and 1 or more electronics. The invoice table will simply refer to an entity from another table using its ID. This way, we only need to have the customer details and electronic item details written once instead of copying them to each new invoice. So a very kind of like simplified way of explaining what a relational database is. So the transportation schedule is in the Reindeer database. However, the MIC database admin can no longer get into the system after the Grinch changed the system password. Let's see how we can help. Make sure you have started the attached machine along with the attack box, which we've already done, and give them a few minutes to spin up, which I've already done as well. So our first step is going to be to check the services running on the SQL box. And we're going to be using Nmap just like we did yesterday. So let's see what we are going to be doing here. Knowing the IP is a Microsoft Windows system, you expect it not to respond to ping probes. Therefore, we're going to be adding a new flag. We didn't use this one yesterday. The hyphen capital P lowercase n to your Nmap command to perform the scan. And what this does is it's going to tell Nmap to skip pinging the target to see if the host is reachable. Without this option, Nmap will assume the target host is offline if it doesn't receive a ping response. So they say there is an open port for SQL accessible over the internet, and they want to know what that port is. So let's hop in here. Nmap. The IP was 10.10.115.38. 10.115.38. And we were going to do, let's do a TCP connect scan and the capital P lowercase n. And remember, by default with this, it's going to do the top 1,000 ports, which we are assuming that the SQL port is going to be in. All right, so we got a bunch of ports back. You'll also notice that we didn't do the SV version or SV flag here to get the more enhanced fingerprinting of the versioning of the particular services. We didn't really need to do that at this point. So we got port 22 for SSH. We got 135, which is going to be kind of a Windows port that's used for a bunch of different things. 1433, which is going to be the SQL port, and 3389, which is the remote desktop port. So 1433 looks like that is going to be our answer for what is the open SQL port. All right. Knowing the SQL server is running accessible over the network, we want to check if our usernames and passwords are still valid. Using the attack box terminal, we're going to be using the command squish, which is an interactive database shell. So the syntax for this is going to be squish, then hyphen uppercase S, and then the server IP address, and then hyphen uppercase U, which is going to be the username, then space, hyphen uppercase P, space, and then the password. So we can pretty much take this whole string here and copy this over. The specifics that they have in here is obviously the IP address that we're going to be using, which is .38. The username is SA, which might stand for System Administrator, and then a password that they have. And this is actually the most secure password that the North Pole seems to have had so far, so a little bit better than some of the previous days. So let's see, we copied that. We'll move that over. And look at that. We actually do have a connection into the database now. See, that's a 1 and greater than sign. What is a prompt we get? 1 greater than. Okay. So the McDatabase admin told us the database name is Reindeer, and it has 3 different tables. So it has a names table, a presence table, and a schedule table. To display the table names, you could use the following syntax: select, and then asterisk, from, table name, where, condition. So the select asterisk is going to be kind of like an any, right? It's going to refer to all columns. The from table is going to specify the table that we want to read, and the where condition specifies the rows or entities. So in the terminal below, they executed the query select asterisk from reindeer.dbo.names, and then the semicolon. You need to make sure that you have the semicolon at the end of the end there to let the server know that that actually is the end of the query. So once we type that, we hit enter, and then after that, on the next line, we hit go to actually send that command to the database. So let us take a look. We can copy this over. See, we can see 4 columns in the table displayed above. And it's going to be ID, first name, last name, nickname. What is the first name of Reindeer? ID 9. And then we go. And the screen is a little bit smaller than what it should be, so it kind of throws off the way that all these are laid out here. But we can see an ID, first name, last name, nickname. And for 9, we see the answer is Rudolph. Okay. There we go. So we're going to check the table schedule. And what is the destination of the trip scheduled on December 7th? So we're going to be using kind of a similar syntax here. So Reindeer, remember, was the name of the database, then period, DBO, period, and then the name of the table, which in this case is going to be schedule. So let's give that a try. And it looks like we're running into the same thing with the overlay as yesterday, where you might not be able to see my command. So let's get rid of that. There you go. And we'll change names to schedule. I think it was schedule, not schedules. Yeah, schedule. Okay. And then go. And we have a whole bunch of the schedules that come up here. And so this is broken down between ID, date, destination, notes. Now, we could be even more creative, or efficient, actually would be a better way to put this, and kind of be more specific with our query since we know what we're looking for. So just from looking at this, we can see December 7th, the answer is Prague. But if we wanted to be a little bit more specific, we could go select from destination, since we know that that is one of the columns that we have here. From Reindeer schedule, and then I think we should be able to go where, and I think we're going to go the other one of the other columns was date equals, and I think December 7th, 2021. Let's go December 7th to 21, like that. And we want to make sure that we have that semicolon at the end. I think this should work. Let's give it a try. And there we go. So we were able to be a little bit more efficient in our search query if we wanted to do that. That might make a little bit more sense if you're dealing with some tables that just have a lot more data in there. But we were able to kind of just see, since there's only 8 different rows, it's pretty easy to find the answer here, which was Prague. So let's put that in. Prague, I think. Yep. Okay. Now we're going to check the table presence and see what the quantity available for the present power bank is. So let's just go and change schedule in this query to presence. Go. What did I do? Oh, helps when I spell it right. Let's see. There we go. And we can see ID, name, and quantity. And we can see ID is 108, name, power bank, quantity is 25,000. Let's see. That should work. Cool. All right. Appreciate everybody dropping in and throwing comments in the chat. I see all your stuff coming in. Let's see. So you've done fantastic work. You've helped make database admin retrieve the schedule. Now let's see if we can run Microsoft Windows commands while interacting with the database. Some Microsoft SQL servers have XP command shell enabled. If this is the case, you might be able to have access to something similar to a command prompt. The command syntax is XP_command shell space apostrophe, the command that you want, apostrophe, and then end that with the semicolon. So you can do simple command will do who am I, which shows the user running the commands, and the terminal output below. They tried that, and we can see that the user is NT service MSSQL server. This means that any command we pass to the XP command shell will run as that service account. We can run other commands to execute on the Microsoft Windows command line. For example, we can use the dir command to list files and directories, or the type and then file name to display the contents of a particular file. Here they do that to show a Windows update log. So XP command shell, make sure that you have the apostrophes, type, and then the particular log file that they wanted to read. Okay, so they say there's a flag hidden in the Grinch user's home directory. Where are its contents? So let's go and see, first off, what the Grinch's username is on there. Let's connect this first. Let's see. If I move this up, let me move this up a little bit. So maybe it'll be a little bit easier to see. It's not all the way at the bottom of the screen. Okay. So it was XP_CMD shell. And then let's see. Should be able to go dir. Let's go see users. Okay, so what I did there with that command was just to get a directory for C users, which you'll see all of the user accounts that you have on the box. And so we have admin, administrator, Grinch, make database admin, public. Okay, so I just want to make sure that we knew what the username there was for Grinch. Cool. So we can kind of continue to go down that path and go Grinch, and then type go, and we can see what we have. All of these different folders. So we have 3D objects, contacts, desktop, documents, downloads, favorites, links, music, pictures, saved searches, videos. So where would we possibly have a flag hidden there? Let's go downloads, see if that works. I think it's a capital D, yeah. And there's nothing in there, okay. We could do desktop. And nothing really there. Okay, let's try documents. Oh, there we go. All right, there is a document called flag.txt. So if you remember, one of the other commands that they mentioned was flag.txt, was we could use, I think it was the file command. Let me just double check. I think that's what it was. Type. There's a type command. Okay. Do that. Go. Bam. There is our key. Copy that. Move that over. And that is it. So not too bad. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward room. Kind of cool to get into a SQL database and kind of mess around. So does anybody have any questions or comments before we wrap everything up? Appreciate everybody dropping in and checking out the video, as always, especially on a Saturday. But if nobody has anything else, then we can go ahead and call it a wrap. And I guess I catch everybody tomorrow when we do day 12. So, all right, everybody have a good day. We'll chat later. All right, bye.